I live in Falls Church, Virginia, and I'm a repeat Foster's customer. I've had several projects with them. I didn't intend to do that, but it just happened. I bought my house in 2003. I needed to finish the basement, and it took me a decade to get to that point of actually doing it, but I'm really glad I did it. It improved the property. I have a third legal bedroom, and I have a fabulous spa bathroom in the basement. I'm really glad I did finish the basement because it's made all the difference to the property and to my life in the house. I started looking around and checked with neighbors to find out other companies that they had used. Because first I was sort of trying to get estimates of cost. You know, was it going to be $50,000, $300,000? What was the cost to finish a 1956 basement? I probably talked to 5 to 7 different people. I settled on Foster's. When I talked to them, compared to everybody else, it just seemed their process made sense. Wasn't going to be inexpensive, but it was going to be worth it. What I appreciated was that Chris was very laid back. He didn't try and high pressure sales me into signing any contracts, and he took a lot of time to explain it. And because it was a big financial decision, it took me a while to get comfortable with that. The basement was completely unfinished. I could barely use it, and I wanted a second bathroom in the property because mine was probably the smallest house in the neighborhood. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom is pretty small. I ended up deciding to redo my kitchen. It wasn't really planned, but it just sort of happened. And of course I called Foster's because I wanted to do the kitchen. That was even an easier process because many of the design decisions had been made in the basement. I didn't really know what design build was until Chris explained it to me. It made a lot of sense. I'd been going around town looking at tile, fixtures, cabinets, at the custom locations, at the big box stores. There was a lot of options out there. And when Chris was explaining to me their 7-8 step process, it just made a lot of sense. For the basement, I spent 3 months working with Chris closely to hammer out what I wanted in the basement, what I needed in the basement, and using their computer-aided design programs, they got it right away, and we were able to move on to a lot of the decision-making about individual cabinets and this and that, and I was able to look in the showroom. We also pulled out catalogs and went through catalogs. It all came together rather easily, and I was very glad of not having to go around. Also, Foster's took care of ordering everything, having it delivered to their warehouses, and then bringing it to my house at the appropriate time in construction. The whole process was really easy, and the help I got in decision-making was fabulous. I can't emphasize how fabulous the construction team was. Foster's gave me an entire plan of what was going to happen which week and how the project was going to go. The project manager coordinated everything. Foster had its own team of plumbers, electricians, handymen, construction aides, worked according to schedule. We didn't have any delays with any employees going to other jobs. They were dedicated because Foster's had planned it in advance. We started construction in January, and actually we were finished early, like 2 weeks early. And the same with the kitchen, actually finished early because all the crucial decisions had been made, and it was very easy to just follow the plan. The most value was the time we spent in design to make the plan and to do the computer graphics, which the computer graphic looked a lot like the end product. It was kind of amazing. And then the second best value was having a crew or construction team headed by the master carpenter, project manager. Everything went to schedule. There was never a point where something happened and we had to postpone for a week or 2. It worked just fine. It wasn't a case of the contractor went away because Foster had dedicated tradespeople. The process continued. It was great. In fact, while I was doing the basement, my mother took ill out in Colorado, and I had to go to Colorado. Mike just came in, had the keys, continued to work every day. I called him every morning to, bug him, and twice a day. And even while we were doing this project, I went to work. Don't think about the cost. Realize that this was going to be super easy. It's not going to be a headache. You're not going to have contractors overcommitting, undercommitting, disappearing. It was a lot of worry was taken off my shoulders, and I loved the final product. At the very end, they surprised me with a binder about my project filled with all the paperwork, all the bills, the warranty information. I mean, everything's in one place. So I've got one for the kitchen and the basement, which is twice as big, and it's got all the plans, all the schematics. It's really a good thing because after I did the basement, when I went to do the kitchen, I just grabbed the binder, found all the paint colors. It was great because I didn't have to worry, where's the paperwork? Where's this? How much did that cost? For me, design build was the way to go. I did not want to hassle with a lot of the individual steps. It came out looking like $1 million and it was exactly what I wanted. We settled on in the design process and made sense. Once you got on the schedule, it worked. As I said, sometimes it even finished a week or two early, but it really worked well. And for me, I was working. I didn't have a lot of time to mess around with individual contractors and finding people. And if you get outside people, they might not coordinate well together. Foster's had that down to a science. And I enjoyed the building process as much as I did the design process because the results were seamless.